I've been sitting with a lot lately, and if I don't just sit down and say it out loud, I am going to keep creating this content around it without ever actually just saying it. So, I am no longer homeschooling, and I don't know how to feel about it yet. But before I get into that piece, although that is the main thing of this video, I need to backtrack like 3 steps because it has just been a lot of shifting going on. If you're wondering, this channel has actually had a good mix of content, and as of recently, if you look at the videos before, obviously it's nothing but trading content. Now, if you've been here since the beginning, my YouTube name used to be the Day Trading Stay at Home Mom. And although I am still keeping that tag because it's mine, I just feel relieved that I'm now bringing everything into one place because the other channel that I had, which I don't even need to name because it's very irrelevant, but I thought that I needed to show up a certain way. And because I got so into like trying to figure out how this thing works, like the niches needed to be, you need to be niche specific to call to one audience. And it was just a lot. And although I enjoyed creating the trading content, it started to make me feel like this kind of like a creative constraint. Like it was putting me in this box that I feel like I just couldn't break from if I wanted to get to my audience. So I made the official decision to put everything under one channel. And ever since I've started, like I've hit this reset on this channel, I feel so much more aligned and it feels like a breath of fresh air. And I actually enjoy creating content now versus focusing on just the one thing. And I've just been enjoying letting it flow naturally, you know? And there's been this like slight tension of like having to build in public because I'm also doing my thing with trading, but I'm also doing these things that God has called me to do. I'm also doing so much more, but if the channels are split, like how am I? It became like such a prison. I don't like that is like the only way that I could describe it, right? I felt like I had to show up polished and professional on the trading channel because that was, or on this channel, if you look at my old videos, you will see like I enjoy doing it, but it just started to feel very icky to me because it wasn't allowing me to show like all parts of me the way that I wanted to, while also still trying to stay so focused on strategy. And I am a strategy systems driven person. So when it comes to trying to align and doing this new thing and knowing what's right, what's wrong, and looking into that stuff, it kind of can put me into like this analysis paralysis state. And I feel like that's where I went. And once I went there, I realized like, okay, I want to keep doing this. So if I want to keep doing this, I just want to show up, and God is bigger than the algorithm. So outside of all these things that I'm worried about, God even had to chin check me about that. So everything is in one place now. So you're getting all of me. You're going to get trading content, that content from below. It's not going anywhere. So you go back and you can look at that content. Because of this tension, I feel like it was really hard for me to be consistent because it made me feel like I had to be polished for one channel, even though I'm documenting the becoming while also trying to teach it, but also doing my podcast and spreading the gospel. So for some reason, showing up, it's more of like a mindset thing, I think, because when it showed up as me just flowing and doing a video a week, it turned into, well, this channel is going to get pushed back if I don't show up this way. And it was just creating a lot of tension. So for me, when it comes to building in public, I'm doing all these things. I am becoming all who God has called me to be in public. And so we just decided to combine my old channel to this trading channel, and we are going to flow and grow from there. I am still currently in my funded challenge, and it's actually going really good. I have a new approach, not a new strategy. I have a new approach that I am trying when it comes to going from being a discretionary trader to a statistical thinking trader. And it has definitely shifted a lot. So in a future video, I would definitely get into the nitty gritty of the difference between the two and why it has changed. And hopefully that be the video that I just go ahead and say I'm funded, right? Because it has helped tremendously. I feel like I have figured out a slight cheat code to prop firms. So be on the lookout for that in the future when it comes to my trading journey to fund it. I've come to realize that niching down is very important in business. And when it comes to having that strategy, having a niche of who you're talking to, like all of that stuff matters. But to a certain extent, I've come to realize when I am being a disciple of Christ and where God is calling me to and what he's calling me to do, there is no niche in that. God did not have a niche for Jesus. His job was to go out and make disciples, and that's just what he did. And much more to the purpose that he had here on earth. But it wasn't like, oh yeah, you're only gonna cater to the Israelites. You're only gonna talk to the Jews. You're only gonna, like, it wasn't like that. So I had to truly sit with not only myself, but allow God to intervene on how I need to show up in these things, because I'm not sitting here doing this from my own strength. Like, if I'm being very transparent and honest, like, even me recording this video is hard. Like, today, this week, the way I've been feeling, I was not going to record, but I've been getting this gentle nudge to just do it. To just do it. So I say all that to say it caused me to just stop being consistent. It was hard showing up in this space without this space, because in reality it comes together, but I didn't know how to piece it together. And honestly, a lot of it just had to do with like, well, what if this, what if that, looking at the algorithm, the analytics, and how YouTube works. Like, it was too much. And honestly, it came to a point to where I just needed to surrender the outcome and just trust God above it all, because God is bigger than any algorithm, and God has called me to serve a specific kind of person, and the way that I was thinking was never going to get me there. So I say all that to say I feel so much more aligned with this mix. I have brought that old channel to the day trading stay at home mom, and it just is a breath of fresh air. And I am just happy and blessed to be here up to this point. The future of this channel is what you have been getting in these past like 5 videos. Soulful Sips podcast will be here. And although I really haven't done a grand introduction to it just yet, I am audio only, but of course there is bigger and better and new things coming. So stay tuned for that, as well as the trading content. It's not stopping. The day trading stay at home mom is still me. We're just under one umbrella now. And you are going to be getting all of who God has called me to be instead of just a piece of the puzzle. So I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but I'm also not where I once was. And that is truly worth saying out loud. I've actually never said it out loud. Yeah. So God is moving, I'm moving. That's all that matters. Now, about homeschooling, it has officially come to an end. It truly meant a lot. And it doesn't mean that it's officially just over, because things can change in the future. But at the same time, it's definitely, I really don't know how to feel about it. I don't know if I feel relieved about it. I don't know if I'm grieving it. I'm uncertain. I'm scared. There's so many emotions that flow into it. And honestly, I really won't even know how to feel about it until after school starts within the next 2 weeks. Me and my husband, we have a 6-year-old by the name of Emerald and a 2-year-old by the name of Amethyst. And our 6-year-old, being the oldest, is about to fly away, I guess you could say. It was a decision that it naturally was just made. And the reason I say that is because over the course of about, I would say like 6 months, my daughter really has been pressing about wanting to try school. She wants to go to school, the idea of school, like, just the motions of that. And from the beginning of this, I already knew that when the time would come, it would just naturally come, and I would know that she's ready. From the beginning, we always knew this. But as of lately, we got intentional. Sorry, it was some dogs running, loose dogs. But as of lately, we got really intentional about it. So I used to say this joke where I would say, if it has to be like a really good school, and it would have to be an art school. It had to be one of those two things, because the area that we are surrounded by, I'm just not comfortable with the schools. And we live in a good area primarily, but just the county itself, I just talk to too many moms. So all in all, I was on Instagram a couple months ago, and this art school kept popping up. And the marketing was so on point. Okay. As someone who looks into marketing and studies it, it was so on point because it grabbed my attention. And it marketed specifically to homeschooling parents. And you know what? I clicked on it. I seen what they were about. I seen what they do during the day. I was like, okay. Now, to backtrack, my daughter is so creative. She loves to sing. She just casually sings and she dances, like, and I know that's like the typical thing, but anyone who knows my daughter, and maybe at some point you see a glimpse, she really do the dang thing, okay? It ain't none of that just yelling and hooting and hollering. Like, the notes are there and everything. So it got to a point where I got really intentional in prayer about it, because God, how do I need to nurture her and steward her in this season? So she's been being used in church, and she's been doing her thing, okay? So fast forward, we go to this school, we love it, we love what they're about. It's an art school. It's an art school. Like, of course she can go there, right? That was the thought. But I just say all that to say that after visiting the school, seeing what they're about, my husband's like, yeah, like, that's where she needs to be. Her The talents and gifts, or the gifts and talents that God has given her, we know that it's going to be nurtured and stewarded in this school, which is what God told me she needed in this season. So she got waitlisted. It goes by lottery. And the one prayer I prayed, I didn't linger over it, but I just prayed, like, if it was meant for her to be at that school, for God to have his way and put her in it. Sure enough, she got in. So one day I got a text that she was offered a seat. Now it's been like maybe like 2 months since she's been waitlisted. And so in the moment when I had just got up from the computer, and in that moment when I got the text and all I seen was Emerald was offered, I couldn't believe it. Like, in that moment when I seen she was offered the seat and the time frame I had to accept it, I felt like a mixture of emotions of like excited. I instantly started praising God. I was like sad, and I was gonna wait to call my husband. I went ahead and called him, and he's like, "Well, so what are we gonna do?" Like, he was excited, but the moment I told him I'm gonna accept it, he instantly knew, like, "Well, how are you?" Because this is a huge shift, and it is. So of course I'm going to be grieving this season of being able to teach her, but it's like I just don't know how to feel, because is it also a relief, because now I'm able to focus 100% on my 2-year-old, because as of right now there are some things that, we are having faith in God for, and her speaking and just being more hands-on with her. So with her being 2 years old and not really saying too much yet, she's definitely progressing. And we've reached out to friends who are speech pathologists, and what I'm doing right now is what I can do, and the rest I'm just leaving in God's hands. But I just say all that to say that I don't know, is it a relief, because now I can fully hone in on doing this? Is it a relief because now I know she's good and she's covered and God has his hand on her? Like, it's just so many feelings, and I don't know what to feel. Like, I don't know what I'm going to feel until after school starts. And that's once I get into a rhythm of it. When it comes to homeschooling our children, as I said, we are going to feel that natural nudge. But because as a parent, I'm very big on, I don't want to interfere with the testimony God is trying to give our children. So when it's time to let them go and walk out the things that we have teach them, I will know when that time has come. And I have to be, and that's why it's so important to be anchored in and remain in God's presence, because it's moments like this where it's like I need to know what to do. Like, what do I go left? Do I go right? Do I keep doing this thing? So to backtrack, the moment I got that text, I knew I had to accept it because I already surrendered it. I gave it to God. God gave me a peace about it, and it's out of my hands. Train a child the way that they should go, and that's, we've instilled our values and our principles in her. And man, our daughter is such like unicorns and rainbows. So all the seeds that we have planted in her are definitely like planted, they are taking root, and they are bearing much fruit. So now she just has to go out and live and do that to the world and be that in the world and be a reflection of us. So I don't want to interfere with that. So of course with that change, a lot is like shifting. Trading, I see trading still being the same, and that's going to be something that's going to be completely new for me because based off the time and our schedules, some days he may take her, some days I'll take her, whatever the case may be. It is going to change my capacity. It's going to change whether how much content can I create now that I have like a window of freedom. What are my trading sessions going to look like? What, all of those things. So I'm still arriving. I am trusting God in all of this to the place where I don't know where I'm feeling. Like I said, I'm not going to know until after the fact, but in the process, I'm really just happy for her. I'm excited. She's super duper excited. I still have moments, but when I have those moments, I just have to go in prayer. And God has his hand all on her, he has his hand on us. And although the world is just so, I really just fear the world. I feel her being out in the world because, I mean, it's the world, you know? It's crazy all around us. So I just have to truly trust and believe God, and release her. So that season has served its purpose. And I'm still learning that honoring what something was doesn't mean that we have to hold on to it past its time. When it comes to the trading challenge, I still do have some ways to go. But again, with this new approach, I truly feel like it can just happen suddenly where I do pass it. Passing this funded challenge, this will be like my fifth, I think this is like my sixth or seventh challenge. And at this point, through moments of being inconsistent, coming back, and in between those waiting seasons where it was just me losing faith in what the promise that God gave, trying to find another way. And I could go into much more detail about the businesses that were started and stopped along the way because I was impatient from the promise that God gave me from the get-go. But passing this challenge is so much more than just me finally becoming funded. Like, this is something that is a dream of mine. It's testing my discipline. It's testing, can I really do it? It's really been a me versus me thing. And in the process of me going against myself, God has had to intervene time and time and time again in order for me to beat myself from old programming and all these other ways of thinking, right? I know the amount of freedom financially that this can bring, and I am so crazy enough to believe that I could definitely be one of those ones, okay? The amount of money that I have on the table and have put in the air to be able to make from trading, it may sound so crazy right now, but maybe I will be able to come back to this video and I'll finally be able to report that I am making 10K a month from trading. And of course, it's going to be baby steps along the way, but if I just stick at it. So this time I feel like I've restarted, but I'm restarting in love and God's love, releasing outcomes and flowing through it and sticking to it. That's the main thing, sticking to it. I honestly feel like trading now, I'll have an extra capacity to be able to trade because now it's not like by a certain time I have to put shift my energy into fully doing this. There's just this huge gap between having a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. It's just easier to balance. So with that being said, I am declaring that in the future, I know I will be able to have an 100K funded account under my belt, stewarding it well, creating multiple payouts, having that 10K monthly, whether it be just from trading alone or the other endeavors that it branches out into. Regardless, I know, I just know it can happen. But I know that that's only going to happen with me staying course and just being disciplined and just trusting and actually believing God to do the thing he said that he was going to do. And here's what I keep coming back to. If the discipline that I have on this small account, what if this is the qualification in order for me to be ready for more? I feel like this time, because God is giving me another chance and I'm doing it alongside with him and not moving ahead anymore, what if this is the test for me? Everything is shifting at once. We got the YouTube content being combined, trading, no longer homeschooling on the scale of needing, on the scale of having that 6-year-old, but limiting it now to a 2-year-old. And at that point, it's funny because it's like some of you would say this is probably still homeschooling, but to me, it's just her being at home with me. I don't know. It's something about the age gap. The energy that's needed is different. To summarize what I feel like this season feels like, when you are anchored in God's word and you're anchored in what he has for you, there's just this feeling that you get when you just know, like when you know that you know that you know that God is about to do a new thing, like something is about to happen. You're entering a new season. Like I really can't even fully explain, but those of you who know just know. There's a verse, Amos 9:13. Let me pull it up. It says this: "The time will come, says the Lord, when the grain and grapes will grow faster than they can be harvested. Then the terrace vineyards on the hills of Israel will drip with sweet wine." Let me hit that in the Message version real quick, because baby, I love a good message. Hello? "Yes, indeed, it won't be long now. God's decree. Things are going to happen so fast your head will swim. One thing fast on the heels of the other. You won't be able to keep up. Everything will be happening at once, and everywhere you look, blessings. Blessings like wine pouring off the mountains and hills. I'll make everything right again for my people, Israel." Oh, and it goes to the next. But when it comes to how I feel about this season, I feel like this is truly about to be like a season of suddenly. It's going to be this is going to be where we see suddenly things can change when you do XYZ. Like, and I don't even really want to put weight on it, right? I'm putting faith in him, but I don't want to put so much weight on it, right? My husband right now is out of town filming for a big show, and it's always been like one of his dreams to, or we could say like one of his milestone markers, to be like an extra on a big show. And this is a huge show on Hulu, and he got a call back for it. And the timing of it happening was just, it was random. Not only was it random, but it was suddenly. Like, he randomly got this email, and I just know this season, it's going to be a suddenly season, and I just have to stick it out. And even though there's so much new, God is going to be stretching and continuing to stretch and mold us to be who we need to be in this season. I have to just release and have faith that I can't operate on old strategies and old systems. Like, I have to rise for the new occasion. And this season is all about, really is just about me doing. It's about me acting on those things and just doing and just trusting God, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing we really have control over. I know that I'm exactly where I need to be. I know my daughter, as she's starting this new venture, she's exactly where she's supposed to be with her 6-year-old self. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds. And might I also add this, in the process of me and my husband making this decision, one huge indicator, or I guess you could say affirmation, that he brought upon me was like, worst case scenario, we just pull her out. If it doesn't work out, if there's things that we just don't like, not going based off emotion, but just pull her out. But in this season, we're just going to try. We are just going to try. And we are not going to know how we feel about it yet until school starts and we get in the flow and we see how it's going. And honestly, I think to add on, trying is enough in this season. And if you have not already, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let me know in the comments, how are you feeling about this? Maybe you're a homeschool parent and you are shaky on whether or not your child needs to be in school, or you have went through this process. I would love to hear your thoughts and where you guys are now in that part of your journey. We are in this together. Pray for us, sister, as we are about to be released. Together, we are trusting God and believing God for the best, because He can only show us how good it can get. It's either this or better. And I'll see you in the next one. God bless.